Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of All Around Us, a Japanese drama romance from 2008. Now, one of the things that I consistently do for this YouTube channel is to scrub the online streaming services and physical media releases to see if there's anything available that's worth watching. So sometimes I'm very surprised to see what pops up. So as an example, this film, All Around Us, was like buried on page 15 or 16 in my search for Japanese movies on Amazon streaming. So I almost fell off my chair when I saw it, because I've been wanting to review this film for a while, but I've been waiting for a release in the United States, because it hasn't really gotten a release in ages. I think I rented this on eHit or something back in the day, and that rental service no longer exists. And it was included in my playlist for 200 Japanese film recommendations from the last 100 years. If you have not gone through that playlist on my channel, I definitely recommend it. So now I get to showcase this film because it's available. At work, Kanao, a courtroom portrait artist, silently observes the highest profile crimes and scandals of the 1990s and decline of Japanese values. His marriage is a bit quirky, and he does have an unhealthy habit of flirting with other women, but he does work with his wife to strengthen their relationship. Unfortunately, the couple is eventually shaken by a tragedy, and Kanao must stand by his wife as she sinks into depression. Japan's post-bubble era is also one of the themes in this film that chronicles the life of this married couple over the course of a decade. Now, very early on, this marriage is portrayed as rather rocky, and the wife actually needs to schedule specific days for them to be physically intimate, which is quite odd. And the film tries to find, the husband tries to find excuses through logic, believe it or not, as to why he's not in the mood when he comes home, and how the wife should put more effort in on her end to make their home life a little bit more interesting and enjoyable. And it's actually a really good scene that showcases the dialogue in this film, which is one of the film's strengths. There's definitely a focus on psychology in this, because the husband and wife have differing views of this marriage, which is driven by a breakdown in their communication. All right? And as a viewer, we see this from both sides, and can therefore understand where each character is coming from. So the question is whether or not they can reconcile their perspectives. They almost are seemingly growing apart from one another in a pretty kind of natural and realistic way. It's a pretty compelling relationship, and I quite enjoyed it, how it was portrayed. There are also a lot of references to the economic troubles of Japan during the 1990s. There are some direct references to high-profile, real-life crimes that occurred as well. This is somewhat ambitious of a strategy in terms of scope for this movie, but it pulls it off. The key to this film, I think, is balance. The plot synopsis, especially the end of my plot synopsis, sounds like it might be kind of a depressing and dry film, but All Around Us is not that. Even during much of the middle section, which is like the heaviest part of the film in terms of tone and how it portrays this woman's emotional descent, it's balanced out by including a bunch of scenes of the husband's profession, as well as commentary on Japanese society in that era. The husband actually starts off the film as a shoe repairman, but his buddy recruits him to do like courtroom drawings for television. So if in a courtroom, if they don't allow cameras, you need the sketch artists in there to draw sketches of like what's going on. That's what he does. And those scenes are actually surprisingly interesting in terms of like the etiquette, how people of different professions react to things that happen in the courtroom. It's rather chaotic and eventful at times, which is quite fun to watch. In fact, the first courtroom scene of the film is shown from the perspective of our protagonist, who's on his first day on the job. So, a really interesting perspective there. And over the course of the film, he becomes comfortable with his job and develops a rapport with these other guys that work there. So it's all good stuff. There's also a good dose of humor to prevent things from getting too, dry or depressing. There's a somewhat surprising turn of events during the final third as well. Acting is top-notch. This is one of the more laid-back performances from Lily Frankie that you'll see. Some of his other roles involving unhinged or slimy characters tend to be more popular, like The Devil's Path or Scoop. But All Around Us is one of his best performances, in my opinion. The lead actress, Tae Kimura, apparently won some awards for her performance in this, and it's well-deserved. There's one scene in this film, I mean, she's good throughout the whole film, but there's one scene in a bookstore that's like my favorite scene in the film. She almost has like a nervous breakdown in this bookstore. And she's responsible for making that scene so impactful. So this movie has a lot of like really good stuff in it. The runtime, it's over 2 full hours. It's a little bit long, but I thought the pacing was fine in this. I did not have a problem with the pacing in this. It's a movie that's able to create dramatic weight and cover multiple themes at the same time. So if you're looking for like a high quality Japanese film from the 2000s, I think this is basically a must-watch. I think it's really good. All Around Us is available on Amazon streaming in the United States, and I strongly recommend it. And as always, we will see you next time.